Hello, welcome to FountainFX on Thursday the 28th of November. Just going to quickly switch over and look at the Swiss yen rather than looking at the dollar pairs. We're looking at what cross pairs are doing, and in this case we can see that with the Swiss franc, with its break earlier on in the month of this particular trend line, we can see that it's actually shown that it's a great opportunity, or had been a great opportunity for this long. So price has pushed heavily up, and we've seen it grow from like the 108 all the way up to the 112, so a good 400-point move. However, sometimes you might look at this and think, oh, we've missed out on the opportunity, it's gone, we should have jumped in here earlier. Sometimes our emotions can take over and we can sit there and say, oh, it's going off to the moon, it's definitely going to keep going, and so therefore we look to buy at this point. This is what most novices do. They'll buy it at the precise moment in which price turns and starts to fall, and then they'll start to lose money. So what can we actually do in this situation when we're looking at something that is clearly in a very strong trend and we're not trading at the moment? Well, first off, I've just switched over to the weekly chart just to see if there's any other areas where price has been there before. We can actually see that the Swiss franc against the yen is, I mean, we're going back to 2007 here on the weekly chart. It's in new and uncharted waters in terms of the price. The price is the highest it's been for a long time. I'm just going to switch over to the monthly chart and see if I can find anything that we can use to measure against. And looking at the monthly chart, we can see that the answer is still no. We're looking at, since previous price highs were around the 105 and the 107 here with this spike back in 2011. So what we can see is for the last year the Swiss franc has been on a roll, pushing higher and higher and higher against the yen. So very much a strong currency against the yen. What can we do? We can look for potential turns and pullbacks. So that's really the only way of trading an uptrend, is to look for the pullbacks into an area of indecision or into an area of previous demands that we can then look to buy and continue in the direction of the trend. This is such a strong trend, it would be foolish to try and trade against it. So that's an example about what to do when price is just rocketing off to the moon. If we just jump backwards to the daily chart and see if there's anything we can see in there for an opportunity to enter a trade. So looking back at this, I've taken the trend line off, which showed the break of the trend line as a great entry point, but now that price has pushed very much higher, we can look for opportunities where, should price pull back down, because this was previously resistance and then it's turned into support, it may be a case we could get a bounce off the 109 area, this line above, and if it pushes back below that before it turns and goes further, we could get a bounce down to the 107. So these are areas where we could look to place a buy order, depending on what happens with the Swiss franc against the yen. MACD is showing very much in a strong uptrend. It doesn't look like there's any decline in that, so it's really about, the other alternative is to allow it to continue to go. When the MACD turns and crosses over to show it's now turned for a downtrend, it may be an opportunity to enter a short and hopefully take some profit as price pulls back down into this area. So you've got various opportunities with something like the Swiss franc against the yen. Gives you an idea about how to trade in a breakout market that's just continuing to go long. And if you're in this trade, then well done, and hang on to it for as long as you can. Manage your stops, etc., so you can bank as much profit as possible, and happy trading.